Warning, this video is a completely subjective ranking of Ben 10's aliens. If you disagree with me, that's fine, but don't act like this is an objective list. It's not, never was, and never will be. With that being said, let's start the show. So, we're doing something a little bit different today. Not a traditional review or retrospective. Instead, I'm going to be ranking all of Ben 10's aliens from the original continuity because I haven't seen the reboot and I don't want to spend a whole video crapping on a show I haven't seen. So yeah, there you go. So I'm going to lay down some ground rules first. As I said, I'm only ranking aliens of the original continuity. So only aliens from Ben 10 2005, Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and Omniverse. Overall, Ben has 62 alien transformations. Thus, number 62 will be the worst and number 1 will be the best. I'm also only ranking Ben's aliens, so no Gwen 10, Kevin 11, and other people who probably have turned into an alien. I'm also not going to be ranking any of the fusions or ultimate aliens. I'm trying to keep it simple, fresh, and clean. Now, with all that being said, let's start the ranking. I hate Spitter. I'll be real, this wasn't what I thought was going to be the bottom pick, but after looking through the whole list, yeah, it kind of had to be Spitter. This alien just feels like an alien that was scrapped and then randomly brought in later because they ran out of ideas. His name is literally the laziest in all of Ben 10. I bet you can't even guess what his power is. What? Oh, you think he could spit? No way! How could you tell? He looks horrendous. He looks like someone took a boil off my skin and drew a smiley face on it. He looks like someone took Ripjaws and beat him with a golf club until he was unrecognizable. Spitter is the worst. And if Spitter is your favorite alien, then I don't know how else to say this, but get a new one. Number 61, Chameleon. I actually forgot this alien even existed, and it doesn't surprise me that I did. I mean, what am I supposed to gather from this alien's design? At least Spitter's was more unique. Look, this alien just isn't it. Apparently his ability is the camouflage, and that's it. I mean, there's aliens that could do exactly what he does, but better, and he looks really boring. So yeah, I think this alien is gonna stay right here where he belongs. Pesky Dust. This alien's powers are pretty unique. I do like the idea of making someone go to sleep and manipulating their dreams. It's not a bad power, but yeah, this design is not it, man. I mean, it feels like a little bland, a little on the nose. It's just a fairy. And the voice is so annoying. Tara Strong is a great voice actress, okay? She really is. But who in the studio said, "Hey Tara, speak like Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls, but you've got a hernia"? Like, geez, man, it's so obnoxious. The only reason it isn't lower is because they do use her power in some cool ways. Yeah, this ain't it. Fast Track. First off, this guy is boring. He looks more like a knockoff DC hero from the 70s than he does a Ben 10 alien. And his power is super speed. We already have an alien that does that. This is literally just Temu Accelerate. Get him out of here! Number 58, Vampire. So, controversial opinion time. Or maybe not, I don't know, I don't keep up with the Ben 10 community all that much. I don't really like any of the monster aliens. They just kind of come off to me as lazy. It's kind of the same reason I don't like Pesky Dust, like even as a kid. Are you really gonna convince me that somehow some alien species just happened to follow an evolutionary path that ended up with them looking exactly like a monster from US or even just world folklore? If you are gonna do that, then at least come up with some unique reason, like what Doctor Who tends to do. But no, instead we get Vampire, and look, he looks ugly as sin. And this alien literally has no other traits or abilities that make him different from a traditional vampire. He looks like a villain from the Scrappy-Doo era of Scooby-Doo, which is debatably the worst era of Scooby-Doo. Vampire is unoriginal, and he's ugly. Yeah, number 58 is where I think I'll leave this vampire staked at. Number 57, Blitzwolfer. This is exactly the same issue I have with Vampire, but at least he looks somewhat cool. Like, it's kind of hard to screw up a werewolf design. But at the end of the day, he's still just a werewolf. It's perfect spot for this guy, I guess. Number 56, Frankenstrike. So, again, I don't like these aliens. I guess the electricity powers is a nice touch. Yeah, number 56 is where you're going. Number 55, Atomics. I'll be honest, I don't know if this alien is beloved or something, but I just find his design kind of boring. The only part I really like is the kind of lava lamp parts of his design. That's about it. I mean, they even use his powers in a pretty boring way. And we've got a way better radiation-themed alien that appears way later on this list. So, yeah. Sorry to all the Atomics fans if you're out there. He's going at number 55. Eye Guy. Well, at least he looks unique. But I'm imagining what kid is going to say Eye Guy is their favorite alien. Like, he's not bad. But he doesn't really give you anything to work with besides he's a lot of eyes. Number 53, Toe Pick. I think I've got the perfect SpongeBob clip that just explains this guy's entire gimmick.
Excuse me, sir. I hope my horrible ugliness won't be a distraction to you.
Not at all, boy!
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. Number 52, Kickin' Hawk. I actually couldn't tell you what his power was before looking him up on the wiki, which, from what the wiki more or less says, it lets Ben fight good. No shit. So do the other aliens. This alien is boring, but it's not as bad as anything I think below it. He could stay in the bottom 10. Number 51, Upchuck. I want to be a fly on the wall when they made this alien so bad. Who in the writer's room went, kids will love to vomit alien. This will be iconic, a moneymaker. In reality, the Upchuck's no one's favorite alien. At least nobody I've met. Maybe there's like 5 Upchuck fans in the entirety of the known universe. But I'm certainly not one of them. Number 50, Astrodactyl. I'm gonna be honest, this alien's ability annoys me because its power could easily be accomplished with just simple tech. And where's the fun in that? It's equally effective to just put Ben in a jetpack, an astronaut suit, and a laser gun. This alien could literally be deleted from canon and there'd be 0 people crying about it. He adds nothing. Number 49, Lodestar. You know, I love magnetic powers in fiction. I really do. There's so much you could do with them, and thus, it's a great power set to use if you're a creative writer. But I just can't get over the fact his head just floats around in there. It just looks goofy to me. I can't take him seriously. I mean, I get it. Magnetic head, magnetic poles, it floats in between them, but come on, man, you look ridiculous. Get a neck. Number 48, Snarrow. This is the only monster alien I somewhat like. Focus on that, I said somewhat. They actually made the effort to make him look somewhat like what an Egyptian mummy alien would look like. Sure, it's obvious that it's a mummy, but you could tell from the design that it has some sort of biological reasoning behind it. Which, in my opinion, the best aliens are the ones that are obviously aliens from the somewhat logical, biological, or scientific explanations of their power. Though this isn't a hard rule, it's just more of a guideline I prefer people to follow when designing Ben 10 aliens. Anyways, Snarrow's pretty cool, but there's aliens that kind of do what he does better. Number 47, Bullfrag. Now, power-wise, Bullfrag isn't the most interesting alien. He's literally just a humanoid frog alien without much else. Which, yeah, as I said, not the most insane power set. But he's above the absolute bottom because he has a great voice and they actually used him in a creative way in Omniverse. Basically, they kind of had him infiltrate an empire that Bullfrag species originated from, which is a genius idea that I'm surprised they haven't done more often in Ben 10. But due to the creativity, Bullfrag gets a fair nod from me. But I can't really put him any higher. Jury Rig. It hurts me to put Jury Rig so low, because on paper I should love this character. I love weird little critters like goblins, gremlins, and other stuff, but his original idea in Ultimate Alien kinda sucks, and I don't really care for his Omniverse one either. And 2, we already have other aliens whose powers revolve around either being smart or mechanically inclined. So, with that being said, I think 48's a pretty decent spot for Jury Rig. Number 45, Buzzshock. This is the first electricity-powered alien in Ben 10. Though if you said upgrade, you know you're being pedantic. You know it, but being first doesn't always make you the best. Yeah, I'm gonna be real, I'm not really feeling this one. I'm usually a sucker for electricity powers, but they went with the most straightforward design possible, and they don't really use his powers for anything too creative either. Yeah, making him look like a battery is also just way too on the nose. So, yeah, 45 it is. Number 44, Nanomech. Okay, I promise I won't overdo the bit where I use a clip to describe how I feel about an alien, but I think this clip right here sums up my opinion perfectly.
Alright, yeah, what about that?
What? The ant?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool, but it doesn't make me feel any better.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Number 43, The Worst. I never got why he's called the worst when he's seemingly impervious to, like, all damage or extreme conditions. Like, dog, you have an unbreakable tank alien that's actually more useful than Spitter is. Still, though, the worst ain't useful or cool enough to make it past number 43, so maybe Ben was onto something. Number 42, Wrath. He's funny at first, but the Macho Man or Hulk Hogan style dialogue gets old after a bit. Especially when you figure out that that's the only joke they do with him. And then you begin to realize that every time this alien is on screen, it's going to be the same general joke structure. Yeah, this could have been higher if it wasn't so one note, and that's saying something for me. I'm a big wrestling nerd. But this is just too much. Number 42 it is. Number 41, Shock Squatch. I mean, he's fine. I guess he's less on the nose than Buzzshock. But that's really all I can say. He's not really that memorable. Number 40, Arctiguana. I feel almost nothing for this alien. Kind of feels like an alien they left in the drafting phase and gave it to Ben 10K because they needed to give him new aliens in the episodes he's in. Could be made into a great plushie though with some design tweaks. He's also still way more useful than Spitter. Yeah, I'm gonna keep crapping on Spitter. Spitter sucks. Number 39, Edel. This alien has a really cool design in Omniverse, but in Ultimate Alien, it's not good at all. He's kind of an example of how many aliens actually got a glow up in the Omniverse art style, which is way more common than some would actually like to admit. His power isn't the craziest. I mean, it's basically just Upchuck but without the vomit. He's fine. He's fine. Number 38, Molestache. This alien is completely absurd. Like, there's no logical reason how this alien's abilities should even exist. But the British accent kind of sells me on the absurdity of this alien. Though that's all I can really say about this guy. He's kind of funny, but he's not that funny. Number 37, Wild Vine. This is the first plant-based alien, and I actually really like his design. Especially his one eye in the center of his pill-shaped head. It definitely feels very alien. Plus, they really got a lot out of his vine and plant-based powers. He's the first alien I would call sufficiently solid. maybe not my favorite, but I can completely get why he'd be your favorite. Yeah, 37 it is. I think that's a fair placement. Number 36, Amphibian. Another alien that I absolutely love the design of. I love how they did a very jellyfish-inspired design, which communicates the electrical nature of this guy's abilities. And they give him quite a bit of due, such as being able to enter technology and obviously electrocute people. Most of my favorite aliens usually have more than one power because, realistically, most species would evolve to have more than one ability. I mean, that's how it works in real life. Anyways, an alien that I think is really cool, but not the coolest. I think number 38 is a good spot for this electrifying alien. Number 35, Walkatrout. I kinda like how simple this alien looks. Like, I think this is the only joke alien that kind of works. It looks like something that could reasonably exist, but also looks completely ridiculous out of its home environment. His abilities also have some use since he's a walking, talking fish. That's gotta have at least some form of use. Number 34, Gut Rot. I think this is the only alien whose gimmick is poison, or at least poisonous gases. It's actually a cool concept they play around with, having him create gases and mixing together different combinations of them in his belly. He's like the Walter White of Ben 10. Okay, maybe it's not exactly that, but it's cool that they used applications of chemistry into this alien's power set. Plus, this alien was inspired by the character designer's favorite Pokemon, Coughing. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Number 33, Blocks. I know people hate this alien, and truthfully, I can kind of get it. It doesn't make sense from the lens of it being a purely organic biological life form. But we also literally have upgrade nanomech and atomics and other mechanical aliens. All of which are what they are, they're mechanical. Like, if you really find it unreasonable that aliens in this world can't be mechanical or silicon based, then what the hell is goop then? What the hell is goop to you people? Anyways, arguments aside, they do a lot of fun visuals with Blocks, but he isn't an alien that I just flip out over if he never existed. Crashhopper. Crashhopper sits in a similar boat to how I feel about Bullfrag. However, the writers seem to get way more out of a grasshopper-inspired moveset than a frog-inspired moveset. Plus, the action scenes with Crashhopper are at least visually interesting, since he's always bouncing around and moving and doing all sorts of stuff. For that alone, I think he deserves a middle placement. 31. Ditto. Let's be honest, Rob Paulson's performance is like 80% of this alien's appeal. They do some cool stuff with him, sure, but there's so much you can do with a cloning power. And let's be real, we all know there's a better alien that has a duplication power later on this list. Number 30. Chromastone. Chromastone has a very interesting gem-based design with some interesting powers, but I think there's better aliens with similar power sets. Though I do like that his energy beams are rainbow colored. That's pretty cool, but I don't think it's gonna get him above the 30 slot. Number 29, Water Hazard. Now we've got the water alien. Yeah, with how many aliens have fire manipulation in Ben 10, it was only a matter of time before we had one that could manipulate water. And they do quite a bit with this alien. I think all four of the OG Ben 10 shows have their mascot aliens of sorts. Ben 10 OG has Heat Blast, Alien Force had Swamp Fire, and I think Water Hazard was planned to be that for Ultimate Alien. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but I do like that they're willing to mix it up a bit. I also love the mechanical suit that he wears. It makes it feel like something out of Predator or something, but for kids. Plus, his Omniverse redesign is so good. Seriously, a lot of the Omniverse redesigns just add little touches to make a design much better in the long run. Number 26, Way Big. This alien was a cool thing as a kid, but now that I'm older, there isn't much to Way Big outside of his gimmick. Now, to be fair, it's not like the writers can just have Ben turn into Ultraman every single episode. But he has a cool design nonetheless. That and every time Way Big showed up, it does feel like a milestone occasion. That and the Ultraman reference is cool, I respect it, but I don't think it's gonna get him above this spot. It's definitely not top 20 material at least. Number 27, Armadillo. Armadillo has such an interesting design that mixes tech and biology. I really love the idea of taking an idea of guy with drills for arms and taking it into like the most extreme direction. Every time Armadillo is on screen, it's a pleasant surprise, but I wish they'd use him a bit more. Thus, since I don't really have a lot of scenes I can really point to and be like, this is how cool Armadillo is, I think I'm going to leave him here at number 27. Ball Weevil. I like how they leaned into making a Weevil-based alien, and while the ball rolling power would sound boring at first, they do a lot with it. It probably helps as well that the balls do explode, but they always use these ball rolling scenes and stunts to add just a little bit of like momentum into the action scenes, which is a good idea because, you know, you can take any power and make it interesting just by presenting it in a cool way, right? With that being said, Ball Weevil is a fun mix of explosive and cute. Number 26 is where I think I'll put him. Number 25, Forearms. This alien is iconic and classic, and I know people are going to be pissed that Forearms is this low. But if I'm being real, Forearms kind of got left behind as the series went on. Like, there are aliens that took the idea of what Forearms presented, that being an alien whose main gimmick was their high strength, and kind of innovated and improved upon what was already introduced. But for his importance to the series and the history of it, I think he still deserves a ton of respect. With that being said, top 25 is a perfect place to put him. Number 24, Ripjaws. Ripjaws is a pretty cool alien, though I'll admit, he's in a similar boat to Forearms to me. Respectable, he was part of the original 10, but I feel like there's aliens that have kind of taken the concepts and stuff that Ripjaws introduced and improved upon it later on in the series. But don't get me wrong, Ripjaws is still an incredible alien. So, you know, top 25, really good place to put him. Number 23, Stinkfly. Stinkfly has a great design. It looks alien. Seriously, this is one of my favorite aliens when I was a kid. But I feel like the later series introduced better and more interesting flying aliens. It's similar to what happens with Ripjaws and Forearms. So, sorry to Stinkfly fans, but I don't think I can rank him any higher than this. Number 22, Wild Mutt. Another great design from the OG series. Wild Mutt honestly has all the positives of Stinkfly with the added bonus that I don't think there's been another alien quite like him. I mean, I don't really know how much I could sell you on Wild Mutt. He's a classic alien. Enough said. Number 21, Terraspin. So if you know me, I love turtles. My previous video probably clued you into that. But this is also an interesting take on a turtle. The fact that he creates wind currents and powerful gusts by spinning around his fins is such an interesting idea. And there's just something about the visual of it that's so captivating as well. Great alien, but just barely made it out of the top 20. Number 20, Goop. Hell yeah, I love Goop. Seriously, I really do. I also love the little detail in his design that the little UFO device floating above his head is actually what's allowing him to move around and function. But if I'm being completely fair, there are more interesting aliens that Ben has. I love Goop nonetheless, but I don't think I could put him any higher because there are aliens that are more interesting and intricate later on. But top 20 is the perfect place for him in my opinion. Number 19, Clockwork. Time powers always create an interesting litmus test for a writer. If they can handle them well, that means they can problem solve a story pretty well. If they can't handle time powers well, then maybe they should rely more on character work than problem solving. Mind you, this isn't an all-encompassing rule, just something I noticed as a writer myself. Anyways, again, the design, it's great, it's good stuff. Don't drink every time I've said I like a design, you'll probably get poisoned. Clockwork has also a lot of great moments in the series for being the only time-based alien on Ben's roster. But I don't think he's had enough moments in comparison to many of the aliens above him. But top 20 is still a good placement, and that's where I think he should go. Alien X. Kind of funny that the time manipulator and the reality manipulator landed back to back. And all I'll say is, Alien X kinda has the same problem as Clockwork, but with an actual solid lore explanation as to why he isn't used more. But because of that, he also doesn't have many moments of cool use. That, and let's be real, the build up to him in Alien Force didn't exactly have the greatest of payoffs. If you were there, you get what I mean. Iconic alien, cool alien, but I don't think he's cracking the top 10 anytime soon. Gray Matter. And here we have another alien from the OG-10. It's pretty hard to hate Gray Matter, thus I think he easily made it into the top 20. But he kinda lands in the same boat as Four Arms and Ripjaws, where he's great, but I think we've gotten more interesting aliens that also have the smart gimmick attached to them. So, with that being said, top 20, I don't know about top 10. Cannonbolt. When Cannonbolt happened, it was like one of the biggest revelations to me as a child. Ben has an 11th alien? What? And next they're gonna tell me the sky is pink. But it actually did happen. And it was so cool to find out Ben could unlock more aliens than just the 10 he was given with at the start. He's a super unique alien, even in comparison to most of the aliens that came after him. I mean, can you really tell me Ben has an alien that can do Cannonbolt better or cooler than Cannonbolt? Probably not. Which makes him a top 20 material. Jet Ray. Now that we're reaching the top 15, a lot of these are going to be a lot of my personal favorites, excluding Goop and a few others. This is Ben's fastest flying alien. He also has the trait of being multifaceted, and that's what I think differentiates a good Ben 10 alien from a great Ben 10 alien. Not only can he fly incredibly fast, but he can also swim incredibly fast. Hell, he can also enter hyperspace and shoot laser beams from his eyes. What's not to love? Number 14. NRG. Maybe this is a controversial opinion or a sleeper hit, but NRG is pretty much all I wanted from Atomics. He has a great idea of being an entity of pure energy and radiation stuck inside a kiln or a suit that contains all of it. It's so cool and gives him a sense of danger, but also a sense of realism. It's a unique design, a unique concept, and for that, easily top 15. Number 13. Spider Monkey. This is yet another iconic alien. I mean, it's Spider Monkey. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't even think I need to explain it all that much. If you don't agree that Spider Monkey is top 15, I don't know what to tell you. You may be a lost cause. Number 12. Echo Echo. Remember when I said there were better aliens with duplication powers than Ditto? Yeah, this is what I meant. Echo Echo has such an interesting design to me. It feels very 2000s, if you get what I mean. You know, it seems very minimalistic, but also perfectly so. Again, I also love that he has multiple attributes, and his name is genius as well. It's a double entendre because he makes clones, but he also has sound powers. So, Echo Echo means that, you know, he makes echoes of himself, but also literally echoes. Echo Echo is one of the best aliens with a name written by Kendrick Lamar, and there hasn't been better bars than Ben 10 since. Number 11. Heat Blast. Another classic and the literal first alien we see Ben turn into. Heat Blast deserves top 15 on that merit alone. And he's always a fun alien to see. They took the idea of an alien made of literal flame and just ran with that in multiple different directions. Like Ben using his powers for propulsion, or making towers of flame, or just burning things to the touch. It's just great. And again, multifaceted. You take one thing and you add multiple layers to it, which makes him great. Honestly, I wanted to put him in the top 10, but with everything that's in the top 10, I just couldn't. That being said though, Heat Blast at number 11 just feels right. Number 10. Ghost Freak. And here is yet another classic. Remember way earlier in the video where I said I didn't like any of the monster aliens? Yeah, this alien is the reason why. They took a classic horror idea and made a great alien out of it. I mean, even his design plays into this idea perfectly. And he does more than just the generic ghost powers. He's got those spooky tentacles in his chest. He's got an eye that can see in all directions. And he's even got laser beams he can blast at people. He could even turn other people into Ghost Freak species and control them. I mean, how many times do I have to tell you this? He's perfect. He's Ghost Freak. Top 10, easily. Get out of here if you disagree. Number 9, Gravitack. First things first, gravity powers are always cool. I love the whole concept of this alien. He can control gravity because he's a living planet. He can even shift into a planetoid form just to create an orbit around himself. I mean, that's just so cool. And they somehow took an idea as crazy as Ben turning into a planet and made it work. Part of me wants to put him higher, but I think deep down, the aliens above him are either better, more iconic, or just overall cooler. But number 9 for Gravitack is honestly something I didn't expect, but I'm glad to see it. Love this alien. Number 8, Humongosaur. Kid me loved this alien. He's a walking, talking, fighting dinosaur man, and he can get bigger. I'm not even gonna hide my bias here, but I way preferred Humongosaur to Forearms as a kid, and I still do. With that being said, number 8 he goes. I don't think I gotta explain this much. Number 7, Brainstorm. Another of my childhood favorites. Can you tell that Alien Force was my favorite Ben 10 series as a kid? See, he's got the gimmick of smartness of gray matter, with even more on top. His brain literally generates electricity and fires it at people, and he does this by opening up his head and exposing his brain. Yes, I love everything about this design. It feels truly alien. Probably the most alien design in all of Ben 10. It's great. Number 6, Feedback. Similar to gravity powers, electricity powers are usually cool. Feedback is the perfect example of this principle. First, look at his design. He literally has copper endings on his fingers and electrical wiring plugs at the end of his antenna. Yes, another incredible alien design. You love to see it. And he does energy storing stuff better than all the aliens below him do. I'm pretty sure Feedback was made to be the face alien of Omniverse, and they killed it. Top 10 easily, man. Number 5, Diamond Head. One of the most unique aliens of all Ben 10. Seriously, I don't think there could be an alien that does what Diamond Head does better than him. He's literally made of diamond. I mean, that just awakens the imagination in any kid. At least, it did for me. And that alone, I think he deserves top 5 easily. Number 4, Swamp Fire. Now, I love Heat Blast as much as the next guy, but I'm gonna say it, I like Swamp Fire more. He has one of my favorite designs in the whole series, period. I mean, the pitch black face with the green lines to represent eyes and a mouth. The mix of the plant and fire powers just made him so interesting. It sold me on this idea that he could be a realistic alien, at least as a kid. And I love that his fire abilities are actually him igniting methane gas he exerts from his body. That's actually scientifically possible. You could feasibly do that. Overall, I love Swamp Fire. Always have, always will. My only complaint is that I kinda hate when Omniverse changed his design when he blossomed, as they call it. Dude, the design was perfect. You didn't have to change a thing about it. Number 3, Accelerate. Look, I know his design is basically just a xenomorph with extra elements, and guess what? I couldn't give a picometer of a shit what you think about that. You're telling me you put the Flash and a xenomorph in a blender and you got this? You must be a god amongst men. And the fact that his design is based on running and biking gear, genius. And the fact that he has balls at the end of his feet that maintain his speed but also make it omnidirectional and more manageable, even more genius. And then you added a retractable visor on top of all of that? Y'all were cooking with this. Put that into my veins as a hard drug, like a crack. Top 3 easily though. He's one of the best aliens ever. Number 2, Upgrade. Upgrade is the most unique alien in all of Ben 10. Whenever Upgrade is on screen, you know there's going to be something interesting. You can use his powers to do so many different things. And oh man, that original series design. That guy who designed Upgrade better have gotten 3 raises. You know what? Fuck that. Give him 3 series and a film. And the vocal distortion on his voice, I know it's probably just a high pass filter, but I do not give a shit. It's perfect. And there's only one alien I love more than this. Number 1. Big Chill. This is it. Number 1. My number 1. Let me just start with this, okay? My kid brain knew I was gonna love this alien till I died when I realized he wraps his wings around him like a cloak. Hell yeah, that is some genius level creativity. And he's got multiple powers. He can phase through walls, and he's got ice powers, and he can fly. He looks like a moth. Mind you, I hated moths as a kid. They're gross. They eat your clothes. But you know who else took a bug that no one likes and made it cool? Spider-Man. And Spider-Man will always be cool, like Big Chill is cool. What else is there to say? He's my favorite alien. And I pretty much love all the aliens, pretty much ranked like 20 and above. But Big Chill has always stuck with me. And why wouldn't he? He's cool incarnate. In fact, he was so cool, Omniverse had to give him a terrible design just to nerf him. And when a character is so cool the studio has to nerf him, that speaks bounds for itself. So, yup, there he is, number 1, Big Chill. And that's it. I ranked them all 62 of them. I made my list, I checked it 7, 8, 9 more times, and I really had to debate myself on some of these aliens placements. But I think where it stands now, it's pretty good. I know this is different from my usual review and retrospective content, and I'll get back to that soon, I promise. But I might do more rankings, depending on if I need a nice refresher here and there. With that being said, please check out my other stuff. I make some songs here and there, I've done reviews and retrospectives, and I've even made some pretty cool short film with my friends. With all that being said, hey, I'll see you next time.